Oh, sorry, I need the audio. I need the audio. Sita.
The best part of your life is yet to come. How can they choose the direction, which are their inherent strengths based on the date, time, and place of birth?
I'm always open to learning something new about myself. It's even better when someone does it for me.
Raj Srikanthan helps people lead a more effective life using a fascinating, ancient tool. You guys are not going to believe this. Welcome, life coach and spiritual advisor, the amazing Raj.
Using your date, time, and place of birth, the pattern of life can be anticipated, which helps people live a smarter and holistic life. It is going to be a great relationship. This is not fortune telling. If you come and ask me, will I win a lottery? Well, if I knew I would not sitting here, I would have won the lottery and gone. This is an ancient science of understanding life patterns, which in Sanskrit is called Jyotish, which means science of journey of inner consciousness.
The most intriguing about this is he was literally 100% spot on.
I consider this to be a mathematical divination model of life, which has been devised by very smart people of ancient India.
Raj was extremely accurate in giving me clarity in his assessment of how I should move forward.
Since 3000 BC, people have been using this tool to understand where they're heading, how they could better themselves.
He says there's weakness there, and I was like, yeah, I had a knee injury and I had surgery on both of my feet.
Wow.
Are you excited about today? People are excited to redefine themselves, to understand where they are heading, so that they can use their strengths to the best of their ability. There has to be a balance between your needs, your wants, and your desires.
I feel Raj is definitely genuine in his quest to help anyone that comes into his life. He's probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met.
People from all walks of life come to see me, including CEOs, business leaders, and housewives who need help with decision making.
I didn't tell him much, but he did tell me about my marriages. He told me about what to look out for.
And it's very precise.
Knowing this information helps you to plan better, understanding that they are here for a reason. They are not born by chance.
Set sail when sailing is good.
I love what I do because I'm making a positive difference in people's life.
He's such a warm and loving person that I immediately trusted him.
He truly is amazing, and I would recommend anybody to go see him.
I can with full certainty say that you will have success after a meeting with Raj.
I know nothing about
He
you.
was
Be
very
sad.
accurate.
The biggest benefit I feel like I got from my meeting with Raj is a sense of hope.
My end goal is to help people discover their passion, their purpose, and peace.
He's a true gift in that sense, a gift giver of hope.
Where is Raj? Raj is here. So our own Raj, come on to the stage. And believe me, he is the engineer. Oh. One second. Let me close that. Sorry. Sorry about that. All right.
Respected Professor Somnath Mishra, Dr. S. Mahapasu, and fellow distinguished friends, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share my story with you. This is a very unconventional story. It's not very technical, but somehow my technical skills are being put to use. Earlier, before I got into this business, I was doing financial valuations for a timeshare company. I always think like I was valuing timeshare based on financial metrics like NPV, PI, IRR. Now I'm valuing human life based on an ancient tradition division model. It's a very divination model. Let me get started my speech with a very interesting quote from Rig Veda. It says that, I'm going to specify in Sanskrit and then explain to you. It's a one-liner. Ano Bhadrat Kratvo Yantu Vishvatah. Rig Veda, chapter 189 verse. What it says is, let noble thoughts come to us from everywhere. I have learned in my life that sometimes you have to let go of things. What I do is not an easy task. Getting up morning and resigning from a corporate job, well-paying job, and following my passion comes with its own challenges. Basically, when I did this, when I started to become a professional life coach, it was, to me, I was somehow pushed into it. I believe in fate and destiny. It's just my way of looking at life. I was very interested in Vedanta and Jyotish system as well, because I always thought it to be a mathematical, statistical model. I say that, I look at forecasting, sales forecasting. There is always a 30% error in corporate, financial forecasting. I look at economists who are forecasting. They make errors. Surprisingly, our system, if you know it well, this system helps you to lead a much better, smarter, and holistic life. Probably this accuracy level is around 60 to 70%, which is not bad when you consider it to be, your human life. There we value, we look at a project which is not even living, and we look at it from, is it a feasible project? What is the IRR? How much investment is needed? Here I'm looking at it for life at 4 dimensions of existence. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. Dharma is your career purpose. What is your career here? Where are you heading? Artha, your wealth position in life. Kama, desires. Will you be able to fulfill your desires? Moksha, your spiritual life. How are you going to balance your work life? All these 3 dimensions are very clearly reflected in this life divination model. The problem in India now is people have made it a fortune-telling tool. And in my opinion, 99.99999% don't even know what this exactly is. I can tell this with pretty good, I'm very assertive about it because I have met people in this field, I've spoken to people. Now, 10 years back, when I was working with Hewitt Associates, one of the management consulting company, I started studying this, though I was interested in this. And I used to spend late nights studying this. Then I enrolled myself into American College of Vedic Sciences, American Council of Vedic Sciences, and Ayurvedic Sciences. So I started studying from 2004. And I used to help people. People would call me, I would just tell them, what's going on, how you can change your lifestyle, what you can do. One led to the other, and I was sitting with my VP in a meeting, and he said, Raj, I'm going through a lot of problems, distress, that stress. I said, you know what? Get me data points, 3 data I need from you. Get your date and time and place and just give it to me. He said, are you nuts? You want me to give you? I said, yeah, it's all hocus pocus. I said, let's talk about it tomorrow in lunch. Give me this data points. So I took the data points at night. I just did my analysis, everything, and I went to lunch. And we sat. And in 30 minutes, he paid for my lunch. He said, man, this is crazy. I said, I told you, this is not hocus pocus. There is a science here. I always say, I was talking to somebody about this, what is this all about? I personally believe this is a nice statistical model which has been devised by ancient sages, probably 5,000, 6,000 BC or beyond, because it's hard to even cognize how they have precisely, figured out many things. And it is statistics. If you know the theory well, and if you have the ability to memorize, probably you would be 80% accurate. If not, even if 50 to 60% directionally, if you are able to figure out, you are able to analyze the person's life and provide them guidance with what they need to do in different aspects, how they can change their life. I think I'm making a positive difference in that individual's life. In 2011, this is very interesting, I land up in the radio show in the morning, very popular in Orlando, Central Florida. And that also happens by chance. Just to go back to my past, those of you who don't know, when I was in RAC, I was very active in histrionics and theater. And my batchmate knows that I used to do a lot of theater work, and I liked to be in the stage, And eventually, then I went to Chennai after my engineering. I was in a construction company for 2 months, then I quit, and I was in entertainment business. 3 years I was with Southern people who know director K. Bhagiraj. I was an assistant director to him. I actually acted in a Hindi movie. I can't even tell that, but I did. Mr. Becha, Anupam Kher, Anil Kapoor, and I acted with him. Then I did few films like in Chennai, and then I also did a big telefilm. My parents always knew I was nuts, so they said enough. So I had to get back, and then I worked for an international company, and I learned some language, Russian, and it was an interesting journey. And then I went ahead and came to US. And that was an old story. Down the lane, it's all gone. I said it was a great venture, and now in 2011, my kids go, because it's very important that how fate, it is like a circle. Somehow something is connected in your life. We go to, my kids were in the preschool, and they went to a JCC, Jewish Community Campus, school, and they had the annual party for the teachers. And me and my wife, we went for the party, and you could bid on something, and that whatever you bid, if you win, it goes to the, as a charity, it goes to JCC. My wife looked at the radio show and said, "Why don't we bid on this?" I said, "What am I going to do there?" She said, "Just go and hang out and just see what's going on there." I said, "Okay." It was a bid, and we bid and we won. So I said, "What am I going to do now?" And I'm totally out of all this. I mean, literally, it's a long, old story. It goes 91, 93, and now it's 2000, and it's all old gone. She said, "Just go and hang out." So they call you the producer of the day. That means you go there, you sit in the radio station, watch them, what they do. It's American way, it's very different. It's very interesting. I said, okay. So I was working. So morning, they asked me to come at 6 to 10. It's a prime show. Mainstream America in Central Florida is very popular. They asked me, "What do you do?" I said, "I work for Marriott." They said, "Well, what are your hobbies?" I said, "I do this system." "What is this?" "The Jyotish, science of journey of inner consciousness." "How does it work?" I said, "Oh, it's interesting. Bring your laptop." I was on the radio station. Normally, they introduce you and they say, "This guy won a bid," and he's sitting there, he's just going to observe. He started talking to me in the radio. He put me on the air, and he started talking to me. And I was explaining what this is all about. It's very important. We were talking about communication. You have to gauge how Americans think. If you come here to this country, and in the business I am in, if I tell them this is what is going to happen, they're going to kick me out. It doesn't work that way. You can't even communicate that way. You have to understand. Can you go to the third slide? Let me explain to you. The next one. Next one. Yeah. See, I always explain to them, just one more. I said, I'm an engineer. Let me put an equation to life. You see? Because it's interesting and it helps to people to get it. I said, Ly is equal to fx plus c, but life is equal to fx plus c. They say, what is this? If you personify life to have two components, I want you to just, I say, fx is your free will. If you click on that, yeah, one more time, yeah. Where fx is your free will, and your c is your constant karma factor. I said, okay. What I'm trying to do through the system is understand the c factor. Okay? Once you understand the c factor, then you can adjust your fx to maximize L. Then they asked me, is c factor constant? Based on the system, yes. I said, man, I don't believe this. I said, well, let me give you an example. You know what? I want to become Mike Tyson. The first thing my client, American guy, is laughs. Man, you're kidding. I said, no, get me the same trainer. I'm going to train 20 hours a day. You think I can become Mike Tyson? No. That's what I'm saying. That C factor tells me that that is not my option. You see, I need to understand my option. What are my options? Everybody is given a plot of land. You know, there are many people as good as Mr. Mahapatra, but there can only be one CEO. There is a reason, because his C factor is very well programmed, so that his FX is in action and L is maxified, and he is there as a CEO of Quest Diagnostics. Mr. Mahapatra, you were mentioning about, very interesting, that I never thought. And most of the time you will see people who reach the top. For me, success is never a destination, it's a journey. You learn as you go. That's why there is nothing failure. Everything is an experience. You will see most of the times, in my experience, media, I have 300 plus, I've met many people, they will say, I never expected. Just you do what you need to do, it takes you in the direction where you need to go, and it will reach you. And I strongly believe that there is nothing called this is what is going to happen. You understand C, you make changes to FX, and you maximize L. This is the way I explain. Why I'm saying this is that my C factor in my life is very interesting. When I was least thinking about entertainment or media, it pushes me back by default, gets me there in the radio. So the radio shows, they gave me full airtime. Just, you know, in the prime radio in the United States, 30-second airtime cost $500. And I was given time probably for 2 hours. So you do the math. You guys are good in math, you know? So do the math. I was on air. Then they play music, and they say, Raj, can you do some consulting air? I said, no, it takes me a couple of hours. But he said, no, do a couple, I'm going to announce. Somehow my gut said, okay, then I started telling people to get their information button. And there were like more than 200 backlogs people. Central Florida, 100,000 people here. I was dead on right. I don't want to go detail, but 2 people who called in, I was dead on. So 100,000 people listening. My office, my people are listening, you know, because the high heart radio, you can listen online. So everybody's listening. It was a big hit, literally. And then I come back to work and I said, man, it was very cool. I said, okay, I forgot. And somebody tells me at work, I think they have named the show Amazing Raj. I said, what? Amazing Raj? He said, yeah, go to the website. I went in, I say Amazing Raj Part 1, Amazing Raj Part 2, and they have put all my information. I said, man, this is crazy. Next, I start getting calls from people. You know, I need to consult with Amazing Raj. I said, who is Amazing? I didn't even realize that I am the Raj. It is really serious, you know. I said, no, I don't do, this is not my profession. I just landed by chance. This became a nuisance for me at work. And about that, at work, all the admin assistants are having problems, you know, relationship. So they will all come to my room. They will say, Raj, we need to talk to you. This is what is happening. This is my story. This is not my whole VP, my CFO also knows it. Current CFO, John Yeller, knows it very well. I said, man, I'm here working. I can't do this, you know. So I used to do like weekly ones, I will take them. And everybody would say, we'll buy you lunch. We'll buy you lunch. You know? One led to other, my gut. Then I used to attend a lot of conferences, like, you know, Jyotish conference, Ayurvedic conference in Harinam Hare Krishna, Lachua, and all. They will always tell me, why don't you lecture? Why don't you lecture? And not to be, in all humbleness, I know very advanced techniques in it. You have to spend time to understand this. You know, a lot of them don't even take time. You know, everybody just brushes it. People are desperate, just take it. So it's become a joke. It is like telling today the situation in general in the spiritual world is such that, I'll give you a good example. You know, you take a book in anatomy, you read yourself, and then you tell everybody, oh, I'm a doctor. You know what? I just read this about, I know where is hypothalamus, thalamus, I know, you know. Oh, you are having pain, probably you need to take some aspirin. That doesn't make you a doctor. A doctor needs to go to 4-year school, you know, 7-year, 13-year, 12-year, but you have to be qualified to even talk about it. Today, the situation in India about the whole spirituality is formal. A lot of people are in the formal category. So they do not even know that it is a pure, in my opinion, it's a pure quantum science. Because today, I was telling Dr. B. Mahapatra about it. I was reading an article in Caltech. You know, they published about quantum physics. I read a lot because I'm also trying to do something in the media. You know, I cannot talk much about it, but God willing, we will see how it all comes together. And you know, when you go in India, we touch the feet of old, you know, elders. They touch and bless you. It's very interesting. They are now naming it quantum entanglement. Very fancy word. Basically, they are saying that in quantum physics, when there is an energy transference, his energy and your energy interacts, it entangles, and there's a positive effect that comes out of it. So, at a fundamental level, I think it's all quantum mechanics and quantum physics. Somehow, somewhere, it's connected. Energy transference, whatever you're thinking, everything is stored at a quantum level. Today, even your body is not solid; it's a waveform. When you go at subatomic level, quarks and other things. We don't want to go detail. So everything is stored and it's being transferred, and that is what our ancient rishis and yogis have figured out. That being said, in 2000, when I attended a conference and came, my gut was saying to me that something here telling me that I need to venture, but I can't get up one morning and leave my job. I have children. I have, my wife worked, which has helped me. So I started telling my wife, you know what, I should do something with it, maybe in the weekend. And I started doing something in the weekend. I never used to charge. People call me out, say, just send me your information and I will help you with it. And then we go through in sessions. The one led to other, and in August of 2011, I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump. So before 1 month before I structured a company, I incorporated a spiritual coaching company. Then I put some plan, how am I going to, now I'm doing this to help people. It's my bread and butter. You need to think about revenue. You need to think about so many things. How are you going to structure it? So I decided that I have to somehow take it to entertainment to sustain it. Because, entertainment gives you a good platform to put it to the next level. And I spoke to the radio guys and they said, okay, we're going to get you. So I did a lot of radio shows, and that, got me a lot of clients. I did some commercials too, because, you have to pay for commercials. And then one led to other, and then I did a couple of, national syndicated shows. And here's what it becomes very interesting to me, actually. That I was consulting with a lawyer from LA, and who was in very deep trouble, and somehow she connected with me, and I do consulting through Skype as well. And when I was consulting with her, after 2 hours, she said to me, have you ever thought about doing a reality show? I said, no, I'm not, I have never. She said, because I looked at your website, I saw you have done so many radio shows, you have advised the UCF, Rollin College, you have students and all these shows. I said, yeah, I just do it. Well, I'm going to introduce you to somebody in LA. I said, who is this? And they said, do you know a movie by name $1 Million Arm? Have you guys heard about that movie? $1 Million Arm? It was produced by Disney and this guy, Neil Mann. He's a good friend of mine now. I said, okay, people always make statements these days. See, my point here is how I have no clue. I have no connection with anything. But this, your path. You keep doing what you need to do the best of your ability. Be passionate about it. You learn. You do what you need to do. I said, okay. In 1 week's time, these guys call me. They said, we want to meet you in LA. I go to LA. That guy first says, this is hocus pocus. He can go to Wikipedia, look at my name, Neil Mander. He can tell me what it is. She has told, no, this is not Wikipedia business. You need to meet him in person. She gives me a 2-hour time, appointment with him. I am very well prepared. I go through, because in entertainment, 2 things are important. One, your knowledge. Second is, from an entertainment person, can this guy pull a show? Guess what? 20 years back, I was in this business. He didn't know that. And I knew to think. So somehow that experience of 3 years was coming helpful to me. Now, it is fascinating to me personally, the journey, and I'm thinking through everything about this training, how I went through, what all I should do. So I'm completely reorienting myself to this whole new journey. In my opinion, it was a completely new journey. And I went there, 2 hours appointment is shortened to 30 minutes. I said, how am I going to do this 30 minutes? I have to impress this guy and make this happen. I only thought to myself, one-time opportunity in my life, I'm going to hit it hard. Give him my best, because I will never get this opportunity to meet a guy like this. When you get a chance, hit it. Never think. Do your best. The lawyer sees the email, calls me, no, we are going to do 2 hours with you. I said, okay. So she calls him and they set up some time, and I am in his house in Hollywood Hills at 4 o'clock. So I'm nervous. Morning appointment at 10 is moved to 4 in the evening, 4 o'clock. So I went to sleep. I was so nervous, my stomach was somersaulting. So I went to rest. My wife is calling because 3 hours ahead. Oh, did you go? Did you meet him? I said, no, I'm actually not well. I got a good sleep. So I went to sleep, got up, took a shower fresh, but I went to he sat, he was in his house, very arrogant because in Hollywood, it's all about money. They will not spend a second with you if they don't think they can make money out of you. And it's all a learning for me. So I was just focused. In 20 minutes, he gets up, shakes hand, he said, they're going to do business with you. I said, okay. Then we go ahead and we do some shoot, like 6 couples, and we did shoot, and they are now pitching it to an ABC, and all these things are going on. The point I'm trying to make here is that my transition now from corporate finance to this life coaching, I believe, kind of my passion has played a very important role. My passion and my belief, as Mr. Mahapatra was talking about, that you have to believe in, you should be passionate about it. There is a saying by Charles Schulz. He says, life is like a 10-speed bicycle. Most of us have gears we never use. I think everybody has the ability. Sometimes you don't realize that ability, but you have to know your strengths. You have to think about it, because I think everybody's karma starts from thought process. Because the thought process, helps you to decide, and the decision takes you to action. So thinking, deciding, and acting. If you don't think through everything and you take risks, then you are pretty much gambling with your life. And I've always thought that this journey from life coaching, and from my corporate finance to life coaching has been probably for some reason meant for something. I do not know what it is, but somehow my experiences in the past, my financial skills, I'm applying it directly or indirectly in this process, because it is very mathematical. When you start looking at it, it's very mathematical. I can't go through the details here in the speech, but all I can say is that I didn't want to go into detail because of the time is so short. I always tell, never lose focus, do not falter, let your inner consciousness connect the dots of your destiny. Thank you so much for your time. Do you have any questions? Do you have any questions? Yes, sir.
The spiritual standpoint, you're a track to see, which is top. But you talk about the prarabdha.
Yes.
So how did the prarabdha come from the picture?
Prarabdha karma is a part of C.
Part of C.
Yes.
So if you have a prarabdha, how do you change?
You can influence your effects. For example, I will give you a good example. Your prarabdha says that you are in a route. I'm trying to figure out that C factor in your prarabdha. 1 mile in this road, the prarabdha says that there is a bump. Let's put it example. Are you going to say, okay, I'm going to go through and break my back? You have an option to make sure that you have a good car, you're driving right, you're maintaining a low speed, but still you will have to go through it, but at least you won't break your back. Do you understand my point?
I was in a meeting that was giving a talk.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it is something related to what you're saying. They said prarabdha is defined and you will face it, but it can be lowered.
Yes, that's what I'm saying, that if you are aware of your prarabdha karma through the system that you want, you can lower the intensity. That's exactly what I'm saying, that if your prarabdha, there is a bump ahead, you are not aware of your prarabdha and you are going fast in your car, and there is a chance that you may break your back, but still you will have to go through the bump. Here, if you are aware, based on the system, you can adjust your speed and you can lower your speed. Still, you will have to go through. At least you won't break your back. You will have a pain and go. There's another example. When we say, let's think about weather forecasting. It's a good example, I would say. We say, you look at the weather forecast every day. You know, let's do your prarabdha karma is tomorrow, it's going to rain. 40% chance it's going to rain. What do? You say, okay, it is going to rain, I'm going to get drenched. Not really, you have an umbrella with you. You can take the umbrella, go, but still you may get wet a little bit, but you're not going to be drenched. Do you get what I'm trying to tell you?
That weather part is statistics, but
Yeah, this is a statistics too.
but Sakaracharya,
Okay.
but the Prarabdha to die at 8,
Mm-hmm.
but he actually managed to leap up to 22. And so what I'm saying is part of it is right what you're saying, because even though his Prarabdha was 8, but because of the karma, but that is actually karma, he could actually prolong life.
You could transcend the karma. That is what I'm trying to tell. That you could transcend the karma. That is a very wrong belief that this is what is going to happen. This is what, no, it doesn't work like that. Your state of mind, eventually everything is happening in state of mind. If you influence the state of mind, you can manage anything. That's what the rishis have said. Like if there is a bad time in dharma, for example, they say that this is not a favorable time, but you can influence your state of mind. For example, they say this is a very agitative time. A corporate guy says, I'm so stressed, I don't know what. So if you understand what his journey is, you can change your lifestyle. You can give tips so that for example, there is a time frame where things may not go right at all. The best part is let something go. We always say if it doesn't matter, if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. So sometimes you will have to live like that, because if you try to fight, it's going to get you're going to land up in a big stress.
I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want to sound flippant or anything.
No, please. I deal with it every day, so.
Yes, I
Please.
see all those advertisements, especially on dish and on the cable. I want to spread Jyotish and so on. Are they really accurate? I mean,
No.
just
In my opinion, you cannot. See, on an average, I will tell you, this is a very good question. Jyotish is called Vedanga. Vedanga means it's one of the angs of Vedas, 6 limbs of Vedas. To understand the whole Veda, you have to understand Jyotish. Jyotish, in my opinion, this is my belief. People may think crazy. I believe some sort of alien knowledge has been transferred. They could understand, because let me explain to you why. In Hindi or in many languages, buddhi, we call it intelligence, buddhi. The same translation, because we are aware of this whole system so well, we call Buddha, which is Mercury, you see, Buddha. And Buddha is associated with buddhi. Now let's take an example. Did the word Buddha come from buddhi, or did the word buddhi come from Buddha? You see? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? We in the Western world, they made it the word astrology. The term, they use that astrology. To me, I feel the rishis have figured out that there was some aspects of buddhi affected by some sort of energy, because you are a part of cosmos. So if you go to that quantum level, your energy, that means we are all connected in some way or another. And I feel that from the word buddhi came the Buddha. They figured out that something is influenced, because it's very hard it's beyond the scope of this discussion to talk about it. But all I can say is it's not a science, a super science. That is the way I look at it. Because it's so precise, it's hard for a human being to remember all the rules. It takes on average 2 hours to understand what's going on. And that is just one part. The Ayurvedic constitution is that your health issues. That is, Ayurveda is a completely different field of, so you evaluate Ayurvedic constitution. This is not exaggerating. I have more physician clients than normal clients who come to me.
So is there some sort of prescriptive, or what is it? I mean, what is the end result? Can you influence the behavior?
Yes, you can influence the behavior, you can manage stress better. Just like any life coach, in my opinion, when you go to a general life coach, they give you a questionnaire, they fill you up, you ask you to fill. Come on, answer this. Most of the time, when you are answering yourself, you may make a mistake. Here, before they come, we evaluate what is going on. What are the questions are answered by this system, and then we put it, and then we say, okay, I have a structured way I approach this. What are the steps? Then I ask them to practice these things. Come after 3 months. You see, you get my point.
Okay, so we'll take just one last question. We're again behind. One last question.
Is there a question?
Since you explained that this is a very statistical way you have designed, what different aspects do you consider while you are trying to analyze someone from a personal basis?
It's a very interesting question. That means, what do you mean? Everything. Your existence is defined by that system. Let's look at the 4 dimensions of existence, which I say dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Dharma is your career. I'm simple way I'm saying, without being philosophical, it's much more deeper than that. It helps you to understand what is your purpose here. What type of career is good for you? What type of strengths? And I believe it reflects the inherent strengths. Statistically, they have figured out some way, and they have come to a conclusion. If this is what is the combination. It's a permutation, combination, and decision-making sciences. That's the way I look at it. It looks at your wealth. There are actually graphical methods, and it's interesting that they have used what we call Rekha and Bindu, which means zeros and one. When they say Bindu, it's 0. Rekha is 1. So everything is in binary. So there are many ratios they have derived when you go into deeper in binary system to figure out what is going on. So I actually show graphically many things to my clients. So which really, the accuracy level, in my opinion, is 95% with that. And so people are stunned because it's very hard to convince an American, white American, because who says, oh, this is nothing. But 99% of my clients are Americans. And I have clients who have been recommended by somebody and who come to me. And this is an exact long time, 2.5 years back. This lady was a wife of a pastor. So she said, my husband will kill me if he knows that I'm here. After our consulting session, because she was afraid that it would interfere with their religion. See, I said that it doesn't interfere with your faith. Just because you're going to church, it doesn't mean that you're not going to die. Everybody has to go. There are 9/11 unfortunate incident happened. There were many people who would have gone to church, different places, but they had to go that way. They haven't. It gives a perspective to them. Then they realize, because people are also very wary about that. It will interfere with their religion, their faith. But in our system, never interferes with that faith. You continue to do what you do. And this system helps you to maneuver your life better. Paulus is laughing. He's having something in mind.
I'm just asking, how many men and women ratio in the client?
Very good. It is 65 to 35. 65 women and 35 men.
Okay, that was the bonus question. So let's
one more question. Huh? First thing, don't use the word horoscope. I hate it. 2 words I hate: astrology and horoscope. You will see in this. I've never used that word. You'll go to my website. I will never use the word because because this is Western. We are conditioned by that whole thing. The whole thing to think that way. Please don't use the word. That too. That the system. There's a book about it. Whole text about this. And I took the book and converted it into Excel model, financial model with tabs, and people who are in investment banking evaluation, they will know, tabs and then one input, and I hold is a model. Actually, it's like a model. It is about your body energy levels, your chakras. We are trying to compare 2 chakras, because when people come together, there is an energy interaction going on between them. So and they have analyzed. Now you can ask, how did they come? I do not know how they came up, but it is very precise. Now, when you advise somebody, you can never tell here, again, it all comes down to communication. I cannot tell somebody, American couple coming, that it is not going to work. That's not my business. My business is to evaluate and put it on the table. This is the strengths, weaknesses, what you can do. Long term, you will have to let go a lot to make this work. Decision is yours. In India, it's very, ye to hone nahi wala, ye gaya. You very normal. This will not work. You cannot come to the conclusion because even the rishis have said if there is a 50-50 people's temperament match, you can go ahead with it. That means they even knew that no one, a man and woman, can never be same. Never be 100% compatible. 50% out of 36 points. They said if it is 18 points, this is exactly the written in Sanskrit. 18. you go ahead. There are the 2-3 different systems. 18, they said, go ahead with it. I think 50%, but think about life. You know, you can never be, you know, it's so much different, two people coming together. But they have put so much. I always believe that everything they have put so precisely with mathematical has a big reason behind that. But yes, I believe there is some truth to it. Let's put it that way. It at least gives you direction to mentally adjust yourself. That, you know, how I could, you know, let go of you, you know, at least it is like an early warning system. You know, in civil engineering, we say that when you see, you know, it's better to have an under-reinforced structure than over-reinforced, because it is an early warning system. It starts to bend. You know, that building is, you know, better be careful and patch it up. It's same thing. It at least gives you early warning. Okay, if this is not well, I was warned. Let me change my mindset. Because at the end of the day, we are trying to influence your state of mind. The Rishis say that it's all about mind. If you know, good, bad, happiness, everything, like, you know, my success, my everything is there. If you're indifferent to it, like Mr. Mahapatra, he's kind of yogi to me. I've been observing him from the morning. This is not joke. I'm quiet, but I observe people. He's like a yogi. You know, the way he interacts and everything, you know, you can know. There are other people who are opposite to that too, but but you know what I'm trying to say. That it is a state of mind. But anyway, thank you so much for the opportunity. I thought I would just share this information.
I'm so proud to have Raj here, my batchmate, 91. We hung out together. 6 of us are here to watch him. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I wanted to do a big speech, but I didn't want to cut because time is short. I didn't want to. I just went a little bit on ad hoc and here and there. So, thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to take a very short break. You know, our executive committee and the board